Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Bridezillas and it's by user oddcelery123. Should I feel guilty for skipping my friend's pricey wedding? Hey Reddit, I need some opinions because I'm feeling a little lost. My friend Karen, 30 female, is getting married, and while I'm super happy for her, she's planning a huge destination wedding in the USA. We live in Europe. She keeps calling it her real wedding, even though there's supposed to be a smaller one in France where we can all go, but we are not invited yet. Here's the thing. Karen is really pushing for my boyfriend and me to go to the USA for this wedding. I've tried to explain to her that I just don't have that kind of money lying around. Her solution? Start paying for flights now in small installments and figure out the rest later. Honestly though, I just don't have the budget and this would eat up my holidays for next year, which is not really how I want to spend it. Don't get me wrong, I love her and would be so happy to see her on her big day, but is it me or are brides becoming total bridezillas with these crazy demands? Do we really have to change all our plans because it's their year? Why do so many weddings now feel like a massive financial burden on the guests? Karen doesn't seem to understand why I'm hesitating and she keeps pushing us to get the tickets. And I'm starting to get frustrated. I even asked her about the second, more local celebration, but she brushed it off and kept insisting on the USA wedding. Am I being unreasonable for wanting to skip this whole destination wedding thing? No, Upi, and I absolutely agree with you. People who go about saying it's their year, yeah, a little bit self-absorbed, I would say. And also making all of these demands, that's just ridiculous. If you don't have the budget, you don't have the budget. And if she really would want you at her wedding to share that special moment with her, she would invite you to the local one. She would understand that you do have constraints and it's not all about her. Now, I don't know if that would make her absolutely 100% a bridezilla, but definitely delusional to think that you should just spend this kind of money because she wants you at her wedding. You're not being unreasonable, OP. Your friend is. And maybe you should tell her, you know what? It's just not gonna happen. I'm so sorry. I would love to be there, but I just can't. And if she wants to drop you as a friend, then you know the type of friend that she actually was. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Grimmer says, a person who expects you to go into debt for their party is not your friend. If they really want you there, they should offer to support you financially, but it's unreasonable to expect your friends to fly across the globe for your pleasure and pay for themselves. If you plan a destination wedding, you either pay for the people you want there or expect that some of them might not come. Deleted says, no one should ever feel guilty for not being able to afford a destination wedding. Your friend should understand that not everyone can afford it and not try to guilt trip you into going. Out of curiosity, where in the US is she getting married? And Dopey responds, they're actually getting married in Napa Valley. The mother of the bride is from there, which is the main reason she chose to tie the knot there. Some guy in the UK says, look, don't explain, tell. Sorry, Karen, we won't be going because it's too much for our budget. I hope we can see you in France. If she says anything else to do with you attending apart from, okay, I'll buy the tickets and accommodation for you, just repeat the above. And ByTim743 says, you should never ever go into debt for someone else's event or have to figure out a payment plan, period. An invitation is not a summons. Your friend wants you there so bad she can pay for it. You've let her know it's not in your budget and she's still pushing you for her big day. That's not a friend, that's an entitled a-hole. Wedding be damned, your friend is not acting like one. When someone has a destination wedding, they have to accept people can't go graciously. If not, then they shouldn't have one. Additional information from OP. Karen is getting married to Steve. I'm the one who introduced them, so she's been extra on me about making sure I'm there. At first, I was like, yay, wedding, and our whole friend group was on board. When I crunched the numbers, it's $3,000 plus on flights, hotels, car rental, and a week's stay. And of course, she's doing a color-coordinated wedding, so I gotta buy a whole new outfit on top of that. Here's the thing, Sarah and I used to be close, but over the past year, it's like she's morphed into this Instagram-obsessed bride. Everything she posts is about her wedding. every single detail, and she's hanging out with this new group of girls who are all about her wedding hype. We still hang out in the same group, but I honestly feel like we've drifted and we're just not that tight anymore. A couple from our friend group already told her they can't make it because of money issues, and Sarah seemed cool about it. I was supposed to tell her the same, but I got sick and they broke the news without me. But here's where it gets sketchy. Literally the next day, Sarah shows up at my place with champagne and a handwritten note asking me to be her bridesmaid. I was so shocked that I said yes on the spot, which was a huge mistake because now I feel like I'm stuck. I've even asked her for help, like maybe suggesting cheaper accommodation or something to make it less painful on my wallet, but she's totally brushed that off. It honestly feels like she's just asking me to be her bridesmaid to guilt trip me into going, knowing I'm the one who introduced them and that I wouldn't back out. I don't want to be the bad guy, especially since we still hang out with the same group. And if this wedding weren't in the US, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But I just can't justify spending thousands for a destination wedding for someone I'm not even that close with anymore. I really don't want to be trapped in a situation I can't afford, but I also don't want to ruin the vibe or be the bad bridesmaid. It's only been a week since she asked me to be a bridesmaid. I feel awful because I don't want to let her down, but I think I need to have the conversation now before things go too far. The wedding is in such an expensive place and the dress code isn't helping either. I think I'll reach out and explain that I can't make it, but hopefully we can still celebrate somehow. Well, the community agrees. She's the one that chose the destination wedding, and if OP can't go, then she should either pay for her or make do with the fact that she can't go. But anyways, we have an update 1 year after the original post, so let's move on with that to see how this story ends. Hi everyone, about a year ago I posted here about skipping my best friend's US destination wedding because it would have cost me and my boyfriend around $4,000 to $5,000 altogether, which just wasn't financially realistic for us. I wanted to update because I genuinely don't know if I lost one of my closest friendships over this. For background, we all live in Paris. She's American, big family, wedding in a beautiful wine region near where her parents live. Very aesthetic, very Instagram, very curated. The groom is French. We weren't casual friends. We were see each other every other day friends. Wine nights, random weekday dinners, group chats constantly, trips, real life closeness. When the US wedding was announced, I did the math. Between flights, hotels, activities, boat day, wine tours, etc., it would have been close to $4,000 to $5,000 for us if we stayed a week. That's a huge amount of money for us. And the entire Paris friend group felt the same. No one here has family in the US to combine it with. Before the US wedding, she came to us with a big bouquet and a bottle of champagne and asked us to be bridesmaid and groomsmen. It was filmed, very emotional, very moment. The thing is, I had already told her it was almost impossible for us to go. It felt like being emotionally cornered on camera. We didn't say no in that moment because how do you? It was awkward, but a few days later I met her alone and told her clearly we couldn't commit because of money. We wouldn't be able to travel or do anything else that year if we went. She brushed it off. Yeah, I know. But something shifted. Important detail. Before the US wedding, we organized and fully paid for a Portugal stag and hen weekend for both of them. It was amazing. We put effort, money, time into celebrating them, so it's not like we didn't show up in other ways. Then, 2 months later, came the small French wedding. Yes, we got the invite. It was beautiful, intimate, so fun, but she was different. Distant, polite, surface level. Not the person I used to sit with for hours talking about everything. Now it's been 6 to 7 months since that wedding. I've maybe seen her 5 times. Every time the group tries to meet, she makes excuses. Or insists we come all the way to their place, 45 minutes outside of Paris, instead of just meeting centrally where all of us live. It feels like a subtle barrier. Meanwhile, she messages my boyfriend weekly for work advice. Let's meet soon texts, professional warmth. But with me, it's cold. How's work, how's life, end of conversation. I've tried reaching out. A few, let's get a coffee and chat messages. Always, yes, soon, but it never happens. After a while, I stopped chasing and I can't help but feel like I didn't fit into the wedding storyline she imagined. The American bridesmaids flew in, the Instagram content happened, the dream aesthetic was fulfilled. The Paris girls didn't. Did we get quietly downgraded? I don't know if she consciously resents us for not going, or if weddings just reorganize people's emotional priorities, but it feels like I lost someone who used to be one of my closest friends, and that makes me really sad. I may be overthinking this, I may have underestimated how much not going would hurt her, or this is just what happens when expectations don't match reality. Additional information. I wanted to add a bit more context after reading through your replies because some of your perspectives genuinely made me reflect. One thing I hadn't fully connected before, it's that it's not just me. Karen has also drifted from the rest of the group. The others don't really see her much anymore either. For example, she recently skipped a mutual friend's birthday and privately told me she's not really that big friend with her to make an effort. That comment honestly didn't sit right with me, especially considering their shared history. It made me realize there's been a broader shift, not just something between her and me. About the logistics side, I want to clarify something. I would absolutely go to Karen's place if she directly invited me. That has never been the issue. What usually happens is that we make plans as a group to meet somewhere central, and when I ask if she wants to join, she often replies late and says the location is too far, suggesting something closer to her neighborhood. By the time that happens, everyone is already there and already on the way, and reorganizing plans just isn't realistic. Paris is big, and none of us live walking distance from each other. Regarding the wedding, accommodation was not included, and when we realistically calculated flights, stay, and activities for a week, the total came out close to $4,000 to $5,000 for us as a couple. That simply wasn't financially realistic. It was never about not caring, just affordability. I don't think Karen is a bad person. What hurts is that something seems to have changed in our friendship and it was never really talked about. No conflict, just distance. At this point, I honestly don't know whether I'm overthinking this or whether there's something unresolved underneath it all, but I did want to thank everyone who shared thoughtful perspectives. It genuinely helped me process the situation more clearly. Well, it sounds to me like Karen is no longer interested in really holding a relationship or a friendship with you, and she's just generating the space to drift away. You just have a choice to make. You try to hang on, or you just let her go and let things be what they need to be. Whatever it is you choose, OP, here's wishing you the best. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit What Should I Do? And it's by user LazyExcuse3694. Girlfriend wants another phone for personal use for her birthday. Me, 26 male, and my girlfriend, 25 female, have been together for 10 months. She already has a phone that works fine. I helped pay for it. Recently, she told me she wants a second phone just for personal use and thinks I should buy it for her as her upcoming birthday gift. I asked what she means by personal use and she got vague. She said it's just not something she wants on her main phone. She also said it's about privacy and that I should trust her. I told her I wasn't comfortable paying for another phone without a clear reason. She got upset and said I was being controlling and turning money into a power thing. That wasn't my intention. I just don't want to feel like I'm being used or ignoring my gut. I don't know what I should do. Please give me suggestions. Well, OP, I would say no. Just don't get her the new phone. Get her something else for her birthday, something that she might like as well. And if she makes a deal out of you not getting the phone that she wanted for her birthday, which is already sketchy in my opinion, like why would she want a second phone and what's this like for personal use? Does she have like alternate accounts on there or something? Is her main phone the one that she uses for work, which is just wrong? If her work wants her to have a phone, they should give her the phone. Regardless, I wouldn't get her the phone because she's just demanding it, and that whole spiel about this being a money power thing, that's just weird. This honestly raised a lot of, I'd say, bright orange flags, if not red already. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Free the Cardboard says, she got upset and said I was being controlling and turning money into a power thing. Unsubscribe. Live Television 7810 says, give her the gift of freedom for her birthday and end this relationship. This sounds unhealthy. Michigan Ski Camp says, either cheating or starting an OnlyFans. No good outcome. Run away now, my man. You're still young and there's plenty of better women out there. And Severe Possible says, saying essentially, I want you to pay for a whole ass separate phone for me for private reasons, you should trust me, is wild. Trust your gut, man. Well, the community agrees that this whole thing is sketchy as F, and they're telling OP or urging him that he should just run away. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hey guys, today's been a long day. I barely slept last night thinking of how stupid I was ignoring the red flags and trusting her words this time. I kept replaying everything in my head and reading through your comments. The more I thought about it, the more I realized if I didn't end it now, I'd just talk myself into staying and slowly let this whole dynamic get worse. I could already feel myself starting to rationalize it. I didn't like that. So I got up early, made a couple strong cups of coffee and called her. We don't live together, so I asked if she wanted to meet at a local park after I got off work. It's a busy park, lots of people around. She agreed right away. It wasn't unusual for us to meet there, especially since it's been weirdly warm for February. I worked from home today and it was a blur. I did the bare minimum, couldn't focus. As soon as I was done, I called her to confirm and within about 30 minutes we were there. At first I kept it light. We walked a bit, I joked around, got her laughing and eventually we sat down on a bench and told her we needed to talk. I explained how the whole second phone thing made me feel manipulated. I told her I already felt pressured helping pay for the first phone, and now being expected to buy another one for personal use with no clear explanation didn't sit right with me. She was quiet for a minute, then said it was a big misunderstanding and that she was joking about the second phone. That didn't make sense to me, so I asked her why she doubled down about privacy, trust, and accused me of using money as power if it was just a joke. She couldn't really answer that, it was just more vague stuff. That was kind of it for me. I told her I'd had enough and that I wanted to break up. She tried to kiss me after I said it, like that would smooth it over. I stepped back. I wasn't going to let it turn into some emotional back and forth. I said I was done and started walking to my car. She stomped off towards hers. I got in mine and left. It sucked. I'm not gonna pretend it didn't, but honestly, as soon as I drove away, I felt this weird mix of sadness and relief. I don't want to be in a relationship where my gut is constantly telling me something's off and I'm being told I'm controlling for asking basic questions. Anyway, that's the update. Appreciate the straight talk from you guys. Sometimes you need outside perspective to see what you're ignoring. Smiley face. Also, I just wanted to clarify that we only had each other's phone and social media passwords because she strongly wanted it and offered me hers to convince me. I don't even know if the passwords were real because I had never once snooped on her. I changed my password this morning before work, so I'm not worried about that. Well, OP, it sounds like you've made the right choice for yourself. You mentioned a mix of sadness and relief, but that's just gonna shift and it's just gonna be more relief than sadness in the upcoming days. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Above Room Temp Kezo. Terminated without warning. Reported them for tax evasion. I was working a 1099 position that was bringing in around an extra $3,000 a month. I was able to do this job alongside my full-time job with no issues. I turned in my work on time, I attended all meetings, and even had gotten a great report from one of my clients. My job must have suspected I was doing more than one position. However, they started demanding that I check my email at least once an hour, and even set hours for me as a 1099 worker. I had to report when I was out of office, whether for injury or something else. I pointed out how I was a 1099 contractor and that none of those things were a contractual obligation. In fact, the entire reason I took on the extra work with this company was the flexibility. They ignored this and continued to push. A few weeks ago, at nearly midnight, I received a termination email. No phone call, not even a text message. I went to log on to my computer the next day and saw my credentials were invalid. I reached out to my supervisor and was told to check my personal email. If you even do that. And that was the end of it. I stood in it a few days before I finally did something. I reported them for mislabeling my position as 1099 when in fact I should have been a W-2 employee. The IRS has a ton of information on what constitutes 1099 work and what doesn't, and I met none of the criteria for 1099 work. They were doing this to avoid paying taxes on their employees and to avoid having to offer insurance, so I reported them. I would wager that this is still ongoing for them, as it's only been a few weeks. I'm not excited about potentially putting people out of work, but I'm tired of being effed over by employers. Well, OP, what they were doing was illegal, and you just said it right. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that